That's the kind of bike BMW sporting new R65LS is. It looks exciting. It looks fast, it looks modern, and if it's exciting and fast and modern, it must be computerized, turbocharged, and have at least 1000 cc. Despite the Gee Whiz styling, the R65LS is the kind of bike BMW has specialized in for years: light, simple, agile, and well-finished. The engine is the 650cc OHV opposed twin shared with the standard R65. Bore is 82 mm. Stroke is 61.5 mm. Compression ratio is 8:1. Carburetors are 32 mm Bing CV. This is not the same engine used on the larger BMW. Being a short-stroke version, it was introduced with the R65 and European only R45 in 1979. The standard BMW engine has a 76 mm stroke, whether it is used in a 600cc bike or the 100cc bikes currently in production. Shortening the stroke for the R65 makes the engine narrower than it would be if the longer stroke were used, and it also enables the engine to have a relatively larger bore and thus bigger valves. At both ends of the LS are wheels quite unlike anything that's ever appeared on a motorcycle before. Lirst, they are antiseptic white. People who see the wheels are inclined to touch them to see if they are plastic. They are so clean and light-looking. Construction of the wheels is accordingly unusual. Rims are hardened aluminum. The spokes are cast of a softer alloy, so the wheels have some flex while possessing adequate rim strength. In shape, the wheel spokes are built out of two shapes: 5 elongated ovals in the center of the wheel, tied to 5 triangular shapes of spoke extending to the rim. The white surface is hard enough to resist scratching and chipping in normal use and is smooth enough so it can be cleaned more easily than normal cast wheels. Rim diameter is 18 in, at both ends 185 in wide in front and 250 in wide in back. Tubes are used in the Continental tires. Valve sizes on the R65 are 40 mm for the intake and 36 mm for the exhaust, each held open for 308 degrees, as are all BMW valves. Being extremely oversquare, the BMW piston speeds are quite low for its size. That's because the R65 stroke is about the same as a Honda 754 that revs much higher. This low piston speed is not used to tune the machine for great peak power at high revs, but instead is used to keep rings and cylinders from wearing out quickly. Maximum engine speed of the R65 is listed at 7,650 revolutions per minute, while maximum continuous speed is 7,300 revolutions per minute. These are not high engine speeds. The BMW cam is not timed for great engine speed. Compression ratio on the latest BMW of all sizes has been lowered from 9:2 to 1:8:2. This has been done so BMW can run on low-octane fuel without detonation, and the test R65 had no trouble on regular, unleaded or high-octane fuels. Other changes have been made in the last 2 years to bring BMW into the 80s. Ignition is now triggered electronically, which is particularly appreciated on the BMW, because setting the points on a BMW used to be more of a bother than it should have been. Fortunately, ignition timing is still adjustable, unlike some other bikes with electronic systems. That can be appreciated if a particular machine is prone to detonation or can run with increased advance at high elevations. To meet emission rules, BMW has added an air breather to the exhaust ports, much like the system used by Kawasaki. This helps oxidize the emissions in the exhaust so the carbs don't have to be leaned out excessively. At least in theory, they don't have to be leaned out too much. The parts to adapt the exhaust breather to the BMW are simple enough. Some one-way valves and steel tubes connecting the exhaust ports with the new airbox. Older BMW used a cast aluminum chamber above the transmission to house the air filter. Now there's an easily removable flat paper filter housed in a plastic chamber installed where the old casting used to be. The new airbox also includes breather tubes, routing blowbee from the crankcase to the intake tubes between the airbox and the carburetors. Last year's major changes to the engine were the addition of all alloy cylinders and a new clutch. The cylinders are a high silicon alloy with a nickel bore surface. According to BMW, the new cylinders used on all the BMW models are 3 times better for heat transfer than the steel-lined cylinders, plus needing less break-in and having reduced oil consumption, all that, and the new cylinders are 6 pounds lighter than the steel-lined cylinders. Like the new cylinders, the clutch change was introduced last year on all the BMWs. The new clutch is 8 lb, lighter than the clutch used on the big BMW. Plus it uses a diaphragm spring pressure plate for more positive action and lighter clutch pull. It is still a single plate dry clutch.